What if the biggest problem in tech right now isn't that we have too many developers, but that we're rapidly running out of the ones who actually know what they're doing? Because while companies race to replace junior engineers with AI tools that write code instantly, something far more dangerous is happening under the surface. The pipeline that creates senior developers is quietly breaking, and once that pipeline collapses, no amount of AI can fix it. The illusion of instant engineers' AI tools made one promise that sounded almost too good to question. Why train junior developers when AI can already code like a mid-level engineer? At first, it sounded efficient. Juniors are slow, they ask questions, they make mistakes, they need supervision. AI, on the other hand, is fast, confident, and available 24/7. So companies started shifting behavior. Less hiring juniors, fewer mentorship programs, more reliance on AI-generated code, smaller onboarding pipelines. On paper, it looked like optimization, but underneath, it was something else entirely. It was the beginning of a talent collapse disguised as efficiency. Because AI doesn't remove the need for junior developers, it removes the environment that creates senior ones. The dirty secret of senior developers. Here's something the industry rarely says out loud. Senior developers are not born. They are trained through failure. No one becomes a senior engineer by watching tutorials or generating code with AI. They become senior by debugging broken systems at 2 a.m., shipping bad code, and fixing the fallout, learning why obvious solutions fail in production, dealing with messy real-world constraints, watching systems break in ways no documentation predicted. Senior developers are essentially failure historians. They carry scars from problems that junior engineers haven't even encountered yet. And here's the key: AI cannot generate that experience. It can generate solutions, but it cannot generate consequences. The disappearing training ground. Traditionally, tech companies functioned like ecosystems. Junior developers wrote code under supervision. Mid-level engineers refined systems. Senior engineers designed architecture and prevented disasters. But AI has disrupted this structure in a subtle way. Now, instead of juniors writing imperfect code and learning from it, companies are increasingly doing this. AI writes the code, seniors review it, juniors observe, or get replaced, and that last part is critical. Because if juniors stop writing real production code, they stop accumulating real experience. And if they stop accumulating experience, they never become seniors. What looks like productivity today becomes a shortage tomorrow, a silent one, but a severe one. The productivity trap. At first, AI feels like magic. A junior developer asks for help, and instead of waiting for guidance, they ask AI. Problem solved instantly. A feature takes days instead of weeks. Managers celebrate, metrics improve, deadlines shrink. But something subtle starts to shift. Developers stop struggling, and struggle is where learning happens. Without struggle, debugging skills weaken. System intuition doesn't form. Pattern recognition stalls. Architectural thinking never develops. In other words, speed increases while depth decreases, and companies don't notice until systems become too complex for anyone left to fully understand them. The hidden cost: a shrinking senior pipeline. Every senior developer today was once a confused junior who broke something important. That breaking phase is not a bug in the system, it is the system. But AI interrupts that process. When companies rely on AI to eliminate beginner mistakes, they also eliminate beginner learning. So the pipeline starts to shrink. Fewer juniors leads to fewer mid-level engineers, leads to fewer seniors. Not immediately, not visibly, but structurally. And by the time leadership realizes what's happening, the damage is already baked into the system, because you can't AI generate someone with 10 years of production experience. You can only grow them over time. The senior developer bottleneck. Now, something interesting is happening across the industry. Companies still desperately need senior developers, but there aren't enough of them. Why? Because the tech industry expanded too fast during the boom. Layoffs removed experienced engineers. AI reduced junior training opportunities. Startups optimized for short-term output instead of long-term growth. So now companies are facing a paradox. They want senior engineers, but they stopped investing in creating them, and no amount of automation solves that gap. AI didn't replace developers, it changed what's missing. There's a misconception floating around that AI will replace developers, but the reality is more complicated. AI is not replacing developers, it is reshaping the distribution of experience inside engineering teams. It replaces repetitive tasks, boilerplate code, simple implementations, but what it cannot replace is system ownership, architectural judgment, debugging, intuition, production, accountability. Ironically, those are the exact skills juniors are supposed to learn over time. So instead of replacing workers, AI is quietly removing the training layer that produces future experts. The coming expertise gap. This leads to a dangerous lag effect. Right now, companies feel productive. Everything seems faster, everything seems cheaper, everything seems more efficient. But underneath that surface is a growing gap. A gap between what systems require and what engineers are actually trained to understand. In a few years, this gap shows up because when fewer people understand the system deeply, every problem becomes a senior level problem. And there are never enough seniors to handle that load. The myth of skip the junior stage. Some companies quietly believe a dangerous idea. If AI can do junior level work, we don't need juniors. But this ignores a fundamental truth of engineering. Junior work is not just labor, it's training data for human expertise. Without it, skill development slows, organizational memory weakens, leadership pipelines collapse, the real value of AI and where it fits. To be clear, AI is not the villain in this story, it is a force multiplier. Used correctly, but used incorrectly, it creates a dangerous illusion. That experience is optional. It isn't. AI can write code, but it cannot understand. That's not coding, that's engineering judgment, and judgment takes years to build. The future hiring problem nobody is preparing for. Here's what the next few years may look like. Companies will realize they urgently need senior engineers, but the junior pipeline is weaker, mid-level growth has slowed, experienced engineers are burned out, or retired competition for talent is extreme. So hiring becomes harder, more expensive, more competitive. And ironically, companies will start doing what they avoided before, reinvesting in training, mentorship, long-term engineering development, because they will rediscover a truth they temporarily forgot. You cannot automate experience. You can only grow it. When AI is inserted into this loop without restraint, it compresses that ambiguity. Problems become neatly solved before engineers fully engage with their complexity. That may seem beneficial, but it removes the friction that builds durable understanding. Over time, teams risk producing engineers who can request solutions but cannot independently diagnose failure modes or evaluate trade-offs under uncertainty. Organizations that deliberately structure this balance will likely maintain stronger long-term resilience. They will produce engineers who are both AI fluent and system aware, capable of questioning outputs rather than accepting them blindly. This combination will matter more as systems grow more automated and less transparent. The myth of skip the junior stage. Some companies quietly believe a dangerous idea. If AI can do junior level work, we don't need juniors. But this ignores a fundamental truth of engineering. Final thoughts. The rise of AI in software development is often framed as a story about replacement, but the real story is more subtle and far more important. It is not about eliminating developers, it is about reshaping how developers become skilled in the first place. And right now, that system is under pressure. If companies continue optimizing for short-term output over long-term expertise, they may find themselves in a strange position, surrounded by powerful tools, but lacking the human experience required to use them safely at scale. Because in the end, the real bottleneck was never code generation. It was judgment, and judgment cannot be automated. Only trained, only earned, only built over time. If you enjoyed this video, make sure to like, subscribe, and comment below. Do you think AI is breaking the developer pipeline or just evolving it into something better? Let's talk in the comments.
The system isn't as simple as it seems, and this is only one piece of the puzzle. Let's uncover the next one.